We continue our reading of Lest We Forget, a daily devotional by author George R. Knight. Today's reading, March 11, Glimpses of the Gospel. By grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not your own. It is the gift of God, not because of works, lest any man should boast. Ephesians 2, 8 and 9. Bates may have been able to convince the other two founders of Seventh-day Adventism regarding the Sabbath, but they didn't buy into legalism. James White, for example, was explicitly clear when he wrote, "Let it be distinctly understood that there is no salvation in the law. That is, there is no redeeming quality in the law." For while it was all important to have living, active faith in Jesus, speaking of the Millerite message in 1850, he declared that it led us to the feet of Jesus, to seek forgiveness of all our sins, and to free and full salvation through the blood of Christ. While James appealed to people to obey and honor God by keeping his commandments, he also wrote that we must seek a full and free pardon of all our transgressions and errors through the atonement of Jesus Christ, now while he pleads his blood before the Father. Ellen was of the same mind as her husband. Especially enlightening is her use of the rich young ruler of Matthew 19 throughout her long history. It varied greatly from that of Bates, Smith, and Butler. Never did she quote Jesus in that context as saying that the way to gain heaven was to keep the commandments. Rather, invariably, she pointed beyond what she called the external and superficial understanding of the young ruler and Bates to the deeper need of a total transformation that could come only through a personal relationship with Christ. To her, the lesson of Matthew 19, 16 and 17 was not that one could gain salvation by the law, but that the rich young ruler had totally failed. While it was true, she pointed out, that he obeyed the external aspects of the Ten Commandments, he did not see that the law was rooted in the love of God. For her, the rich young ruler had not been saved by keeping the commandments, but was totally lost. See Second Spiritual Gifts, page 239 to 243, Desire of Ages 518 to 523, Christ Object Lessons 390 to 392. Dear friend, one of the most important understandings we need for daily living is the relationship of the law to the saving gospel. We will review the gospel message extensively later this year, but we need to begin our journey on the topic today. This concludes our reading today of Lest We Forget.